Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is March 5th, 2023, and we are getting into volume 25 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you guys can see, I have all your comments open in front of me. This is what we will be covering today. Before we start, I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide in my videos on this channel are directly from official government sources, USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and of course the Department of State. So without further ado, let's start with the very first question from Nightmare. Filed in 2015 for the brother and sibling category. Okay, any chances of getting rejected? So there's always a chance for your application to be rejected because a lot of the stuff that we do with our applications, with the petitions, with the process in general, is heavily relies obviously on us. We are submitting the documents, we are filling out the applications, we are going for the interviews. Obviously, petitioner has to do a lot. You're asking about the I-130, so you are doing a lot. Your brother, your siblings going to be doing a lot on their part, going for obviously medical exam, going to the interview, providing all the documentation, answering all the questions of the consul. So there's always a chance for the petition to be denied. Now, whenever it comes specifically to brothers and sisters, siblings, this is unfortunately, and you have to be a U.S. citizen, so I'm assuming you're a citizen since you filed for your brother, sister. And I can personally relate because I do have as well a petition that is pending for a sibling, and it's going to be pending for quite a long time. You already have it since 2015. So I'm pretty sure, let's open up the visa bulletin. It's a great opportunity for me to demonstrate a little bit of navigation on the visa bulletin. Basically, if you have a family immigration related process currently, you need to be on top of visa bulletin. And as you can see, this is the most recent one for March 2023, and these are the numbers. There are two graphs. I've done a separate video describing the difference between the two graphs, but basically your category would be the F4, which is brothers and sisters of adult US citizens. So as of right now, they're actually processing, if we start from the date of filing of the initial petition I-130 when it was accepted by USCIS as of December 2007, and you are in 2015, so there is about, what is it, about 8 more years roughly. It's a very rough estimate because these numbers, they can speed up, they can slow down, but as of right now, about 8 more years. Just stay on top of the case, do the best that you can with all the information, don't miss any notices, and that's the only thing that will, it's not gonna guarantee the approval, but it will guarantee everything you can do for the successful completion of that petition. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna place that so you know that it has been answered, and we're gonna move on to Carlos Mangasep. Actually, a few 5 comments from Carlos, same comment. You guys don't have to post on every video. I'm gonna see it in here. That's how I see all the comments, so I'm not gonna miss it. But let's address Carlos. My daughter petitioned me and I have an incorrect answer in my DS-260. Okay, instead of marriage I put widow. How can I change this? And I also write that I'm going to travel by my own. Can I change it because I want to bring my underage son and daughter with me? What I'm going to do? I'm now waiting for my medical. Thank you very much. Okay, Carlos, excellent question. Really good question. So from what you're saying, it sounds like your interview is very close because you already are doing the medical, okay? And usually you do the medical as soon as you're scheduled the interview, and usually you are scheduled the interview like about a month, so you have about a week or two to get your medical done because you want to get that medical done as soon as possible before the interview, so that by the time your interview comes, you already have all your medical documents, the consul, whatever, they already received all your medical stuff from the doctor. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's a little bit too late to contact NVC in order to make any updates in the DS260. You can't resubmit another one. You can't unsubmit it or correct it if it was already submitted. All right. You can ask NVC to maybe potentially reopen it if possible, so that you can correct this mistake, or you can ask them to correct it on their end. But for that, you need some extra time, and you don't really have time. But with that being said, I don't want to scare you, or I don't want to get you worried, because really this doesn't seem like that huge of a mistake. Just make sure you bring your marriage certificate to the interview, and just ask the consul to correct this mistake during the interview process by providing the updated documents showing that, hey, this is the document. I just made a mistake. I was rushing or whatever. Now, whenever it comes to the underage son and daughter that you want to bring with you, I'm assuming you want to bring them on a non-immigrant status for now, maybe as just accompanying you. I might be wrong, but I'll definitely look into that. I would contact your local US embassy and actually ask them, because most likely they will have you schedule a separate interview for your son and your daughter. You will come with them for an interview, but most likely they will ask you to do that, to give them the visas so that they can travel with you. All right, but the best thing to do would be to contact about it the US embassy, local US embassy, where you will be doing your interview. So I'm gonna do this, that I addressed it, and I'm also gonna do this on all of the other comments that you posted, just so that they don't show up with the next video. Moving on to Miriam R. Thank you for the update. You're very welcome, Miriam. Thank you for watching. Again, from Miriam, yes, they overcharge for stuff you can do yourself, and that's 7 tips for finding best immigration lawyers. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Unfortunately, it seems to be the case with a lot of times, a lot of people dealing with the immigration attorneys. And can you really blame attorneys for that? Well, not really, because if a person themselves, right, applicant, petitioner, anybody who is getting into the starting the immigration process or whatever it is, right, all of the resources are open to the public. All right, anybody can open USCIS website, find whatever form they need, and start whatever process they need to start. If you're willing to put a little bit of that effort, take a little time to learn the process, do some research, right? It's pretty straightforward. If you're not willing to do that, however, you can get somebody to do all of that for you for a fee, all right? And that's where the attorneys come into play. So there is the time where you want to do it with an attorney and pay and spend some money, and there's times where it's, question is on you. Do you want to take time and learn and see how to do it yourself? So both ways. Moving further to Cristel Camacho, which address do I send the documents to? So the question is on file for free, how to apply for USCIS fee waiver, I-912. Okay, so very cool thing about this form, I-912, the fee waiver for the applications, for the petitions, is that you mail it to whatever you're mailing the main application. So let's say you're applying for naturalization, right? You're submitting the form N400. You want to get the fee waived for that application. You fill out the form I-912 and you mail it together with the form N400 to wherever you have to send the N400. If you're filling out the application for the adjustment of status, you're adding, and want the fee waived, you're adding the completed I-912 to that, and you're filing it to whatever you have to file the form, the application for the adjustment of status. So whatever the main application is going is where that fee waiver is going as well. Again, keep in mind, Cristel, that it's not a guarantee that your fee is going to be waived, and most of the times, a lot of times, USCIS denies this fee waivers. But if there is a chance for you to get that fee waived, why not? Okay, so let's move on to Shinuda Bekit. Thank you very much. Shinuda, thank you for being publicly subscribed. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. Let's move on to the next one from Yulia Shandiba. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. Hello, thank you so much for this video. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. I have B2 visa till May 3, 2023. And if I apply to change a non-immigrant status from B2 to F1, should I stay on the territory of USA till I receive an approval? And if so, how long it will take to receive F1 visa, as I want to go to a school in fall 2023? Excellent question, Yulia. So yes, whenever it comes to the applications for the change or the extension of non-immigrant status, right? I-539. You definitely do want to remain in the United States while your application is pending, because whenever it comes to these specific applications, if you leave the United States of America while this is pending, your application is considered to be abandoned, and obviously you definitely don't want to do that. If you do that, you will have to reapply through the US Embassy back in your country and apply for a separate F1 for a student visa, right? So definitely you want to be here. Now, going back to your second question, whenever it comes to F1 and the change of status in general, usually change of status takes about 3 to 4 months, all right? There were some delays, especially in for the past previous couple of years. There were some major delays with these specific applications. Why? Because a lot of people were filing them to extend their stay in the United States. They couldn't leave because the airports were closed, because whatever other requirements, crazy stuff happening in the past couple of years. There was a delay, so now they're speeding up again, but don't be surprised if it takes a little bit longer. Another thing that I wanted to mention specifically about F1 is you definitely need to work closer with the university or with the school where you're planning to apply, because a lot of the stuff that has to do with F1 visa, it is the school that actually needs to provide you the documentation. So if you are planning to start your school in fall 2023, right now, March 2023 is excellent time to get on it and start the actual process. All right, so let's move on to the next question from Beriket Tiramo. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing names. Hello there. First of all, I would like to appreciate you what you're doing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It means a lot. My question is, I applied I-130 on November 2021 for my kids and wife. At that time, my citizenship status is green card holder, and I got my US citizenship on October 2022. So still my case is on review in USCIS on California Service Center. So do I need to do something? Thanks. Excellent question, Barakat. Okay, so let me demonstrate some stuff here on USCIS website. We're going to go to Tools, and we're gonna go to case status, and we're gonna navigate to the USCIS processing times. Now, you probably already know that, and I've done separate videos on this, but if you haven't seen, if somebody who's watching this video haven't seen it, I wanted to demonstrate the process of checking the processing times. Process of processing times. Okay, so I-130, and you filed it, and let me double check, you filed it, kids and wife. So kids and wife, so it's going to be, there we go, here. So it's going to be permanent resident filing for spouse and children, and I'll explain why I'm doing this. California Service Center processing times. So 25.5 months in the California Service Center. That's just a little bit over 2 years, and you have filed it in November 2021. So November 2023 is going to be 2 years, and then there's another month and a half. So you're looking December, January 2024. If you are being processed as a permanent resident, if you're being processed as a citizen, in that case, you're a citizen, spouse, children under California Service Center, it's only 10 months. So technically, your application should have been already processed if you were filing as U.S. citizen. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I definitely recommend you highly as soon as possible. The sooner you can do it, the better. Because it is still with USCIS, you know it's in California Service Center. You know the address of the California Service Center because it is on your initial notice of receipt, notice of action, the very first receipt that you received from USCIS. Make sure this is what you want to do. You want to attach the proof of your US citizenship now. That would be your naturalization certificate. All right, that's really all you need. And make sure to write a little bit, kind of like a cover letter, like a personal statement, addressing it to USCIS from obviously your name, your address, all your information, your phone number, just in case if they need to contact you. And then in the letter you say that, hey, this is my application, receipt number, I have filed I-130 back in whatever. So you put all the dates in the detail, you put all the receipt numbers in the detail, you say that you filed initially as a permanent resident and now you are a US citizen, and you are asking USCIS to update your filing status basically for this petition. It's very important, especially in your case, and I'm really glad that that you posted a comment with this question, because whoever is watching, if your status changes, definitely you want to do that. There is only one reason why you don't want to bother with it. Let's say if, for example, Barakat, if you were waiting from 2020, right, from November or maybe even earlier, and your processing time basically was ending really close, then you really don't need to bother updating your status, because once USCIS approves your case, they just transfer it to NVC. So you shouldn't really bother with USCIS. You should bother with NVC. Then you want to send your updated status to the NVC. But because you still have some time for the processing, definitely file it as soon as possible. So I'm gonna post that, and we're gonna go to the next question from, actually a couple questions from Gleb Gubin. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Thank you so much for helping people with answering. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. That's what I enjoy doing. I have a few questions too. All right, let's do that. What do you think? When can we see any changes on moving dates in the bulletin? Okay, so I actually done. I think yes. As of you watching this video right now, I already should have a video posted on this channel. It's an update, news update, basically for the whole February 2023. So there was a meeting between the American Immigration Lawyers Association and the representative from the Department of State, actually discussing the visa bulletin, the numbers in general. And from the official numbers that the Department of State is giving, looks like the processing of this application is speeding up a little bit compared to the past previous years. There was some major delays in the past couple of years, unfortunately. So there was some backlog accumulated during the past couple of years. But they're speeding up now, so hopefully with the new bulletin we will see a little bit of speed up. My category is F1. Our priority date is July 2015. Okay, so F1 category, it's the children, unmarried children over 21 of US citizens. And I think this has to be one of the most unfair categories here because of the backlog that is associated with it. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. Not so far from the current, which is December 14th, so you're very close. But the current date didn't move at all for 1 year and 4 months at this moment. It's sad. Our documentary qualified was March 2021. Okay, so you're already documentary qualified. That's great. The priority date is July 15th, as I already said. Okay. Am I getting it right that I have to wait when in the chart will be my priority date? According to chart B, we already have sent all the documents that are required, and now how just to wait until our priority date July 2015 will be chart A. Is it correct? Okay, excellent question, Gleb. Yes, definitely, you're getting it correct. The reason why there is a little bit of the confusion whenever it comes to the documentarily qualified, I'll try to explain, and maybe it will helpful to whoever else is watching this video. Sometimes there is a confusion between the documentarily qualified chart and the initial receipt chart, because When this is approved, sometimes the case is transferred to the NVC pretty much immediately. So you're documentarily qualified I mean, way back, you're documentarily qualified, and now you're just waiting for the immigrant visa to be available. But sometimes you file the application way back, it was approved, but it was never, it was transferred to NVC, but you never got that welcome letter from the NVC so that you can start your portal all of the stuff that you have to do on the NVC portal, until it is closer to the availability of the immigrant visa. So you see the big difference. In one instance, they are waiting for the immigrant visa to be available, and then they send you the welcome letter. And in another instance, they just send you the welcome letter as soon as the USCIS, pretty much as soon as USCIS approves your initial petition. And that creates this confusion because some people, they have been documentarily qualified now for years, from like back whenever they filed for the petition. And that's why you see a very small difference between those charts, just about a year and a few months. And sometimes in the confusing scenarios, NVC, the National Visa Center, they wait closer till the availability of the immigrant visa, and then they send you the welcome letter, and that creates a confusion. So you got that right. You definitely got that right. In your case, you see they waited, but doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your application at all. You're still from July 2015. That's when they received the petition. So not too long of a wait. I know this visa bulletin, unfortunately, is not very. It's not 100% reliable whenever it comes to, making the predictions in general for the processing times, but this is the best we have, and at least the rough predictions is better than nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna post this, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Sun and Stars Productions. I married my spouse in Nigeria last August. Okay, I'm the petitioner to bring him to me. We have 4 months left to wait until a decision is made from USCIS. Is a husband request something that can be faster, or might it take longer than 4 months? Okay, great question. So whenever it comes to the processing times in general, you will see, and I have the processing time right here for one of my previous answers. You will see on literally every processing time that you will see, at the very top it says 80% of cases are completed within. So that means that there's still 20% that are completed either faster or completed slower. Whenever it comes to faster, slower, usually we're talking about a month. Give it a month. If it takes a month longer, that's fine. Give it a whole month above this time, and if still nothing is happening, then submit the case inquiry with USCIS. And it's very simple. I think it might actually be somewhere here on this page. There you go. Inquire about a case outside normal processing time. So hopefully it will not come to this in your case. Sometimes they are being processed faster, and sometimes, yes, it can be taking longer. If it's just a month longer, just wait it out. But if it gets over a month longer than the processing times that is shown here, not this in particular, but for your case, definitely submit the case inquiry. All right, let's move on to the next one from Abenezer Ayal Kebet. What about I-485 from the spouse, for the spouse of asylum status person, and still she is living in the USA and included in the approval? Okay, great question regarding asylum. Yes, so basically, if you have a dependent on your asylum application and the main your application is approved, clearly, automatically your dependent's asylum status is approved as well. So your spouse has the asylum status as well. So with a granted asylum status, once you're here in the United States of America, physically in the United States of America, not just having a status for a year, physically here in the United States of America for 1 year with granted asylum status, you can apply for your permanent residence. Both you, your spouse, whoever else was on the initial asylum application. So I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna move on to the next one. We still have like 6 minutes, so I'll try to answer as many as possible. Maybe these two, we'll see. Key and Chi. I'm a US citizen. My wife and children have just had the I-130 application approved. Congratulations, great news. About how long does it take from this step until they receive their visas to enter the US? Is it possible they can be denied? Okay, again, I'll start with the with the last question. There's always a chance for denial, unfortunately, because really it's, a lot of it is up to us. Human factor. We can always, make mistake, forget a document, miss an appointment. There's always a chance to be denied. So just stay on top of the application. Make sure you don't miss anything. Make sure that they bring everything, all of the documents that you have submitted to NVC for the processing. Make sure to bring all of that to the appointment. In fact, you will get the email once the interview is scheduled. You will get the email with all of the documentation that is required, and it will say which originals it needs, which copies are okay. So make sure you follow it to the T and do your best, and that's how you get your applications approved. Now, whenever it comes to how long waiting, wife and children of a U.S. citizen, there is no cap for those visas. The children that are under 21 and unmarried, that is. There is no cap for these visas, so they are processed as soon as basically USCIS processes them, and then once it's transferred to NVC, once you submit everything with NVC, they're processed basically as soon as possible. There's a 30-day by the internal regulations that they have. Within 30 days, basically, they have to NVC. They have to make sure that you are all set with the portal, and once you submit everything, they have, I think, 60 days, if I'm correct. I've actually done a separate video on this just today, talking about the responses from the NVC to the questions from the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and they're explaining the amounts of time. So if you want to learn more, I recommend checking out this video. It's called US Immigration News February 2023 update, something like that. But overall, it shouldn't be long. I would say, it's approved by USCIS, so it's been transferred to NVC. Did you already get the welcome letter from the NVC? If not, you should be getting it in the next month. If it just has been approved within a month, you should be getting the welcome letter from the NVC. It'll probably take you a couple of weeks at least to fill everything out on the NVC side, sponsorship information, the application for the visa, pay all the fees. So about 2 weeks there. And then for processing from the NVC, I would say about 1.5 months, maybe 2 months. So we're looking at like 3.5 months. And then if everything is good, if they approve it, if they documentarily qualify you, they will transfer it to the local U.S. embassy. So that's another couple of weeks. So overall, I would say you're looking about 4 or 5 months total for the whole process. But on the plus side, everything is moving along. You're approved. So just stay on top of the case and just do your best, forget the rest here. That's what I say. All right, let's move on to the next one. From Corey, can we file online this form for parents or not? Okay, so you can only file online if it's just one application. If there is more than one person on the application, if you have to file I-539A supplemental, then you have to do it by mail. So I'm gonna put that, and we're gonna move on to the next question from Anzama Dennis. How can I process H5A visa? Okay, so whenever it comes to H5A visa, that was long time ago. There was a bill that was introduced by the Senate as like a part of the immigration reform. I don't think they ever moved on that bill. Be careful whenever it comes to information like this, because there's a lot of forums, online sources, kind of like this channel, all right, that like to do, they like to give you like these crazy news, like, wow, this, like, wow, immigration, for the stuff that has not passed yet. Because if it's not passed, if it's not if it's not becoming an actual law, then there is no point of it. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that are introduced in the Senate, in the House, in the whoever, in the whatever. But if they are not actually implemented, then there's absolutely no use for them. It's just really, you're selling news. You're saying, oh, there's this amazing H5 visas. And then you read the whole article and it says, oh, it was introduced that, oh, these H5 visas are amazing if they are ever the thing. And in H5A visa, I don't think they ever became the thing, because there's nothing about these visas on neither USCIS or the Department of State. So with whatever research that you're doing, make sure again that you're always getting your information directly from the official sources. That's why on this channel I only stick to that. That's it, nothing else. No attorney websites, no news, immigration news forums, whatever, because you all know how the news work. All right, let's move on to the next one. Amar Khan, thank you so much for quick response and waiting for my... Okay, so that was already addressed, and I am really hope that I was able to answer your question. Moving on to the next one from Cesar Montes, and I'll try to cover this one and the next one. And okay, so that's also from Carlos. All right, Carlos, so I answered your question, so we will just try to answer Caesar, and we will be done with this video. Okay, so I need to get the info of my travel in 2008. I need to get my visa number and issue date. I lost my passport in 2012. My visa was expired at the time, but now I want to request a new visa and the application is asking for the info. Thank you. Okay, Caesar, great question. So the best case scenario for you, it would be to pull up the arrival departure record. I've actually you're commenting on this, I-94. So I'm gonna follow up with a question for you. Were you able to pull up your arrival departure record with the information that you have? If you were not able to pull it up, that's really what you need for the application. The best thing to do is to reach out to CBP, Customs and Border Protection. I think in this video I actually explained how to submit that inquiry with the CBP. That's the only guys who will be able to help you with this, to provide that arrival departure record in your case. But that's the best thing that you can do. I would say maybe possibly you can reach out to your local US embassy where you were actually getting your visa, but a lot of times, most of the times, they do not accommodate requests like this. So reach out to CBP and then use the information that they provide in the application. And in the worst case scenario, you can also put in the responses unknown, and then provide it on a supplemental sheet that most of the applications come with, most of the USCIS applications come with, the explanation why it is unknown. Also, if you can follow up with some information on what kind of application that you're submitting, maybe I could provide a little bit more answers. So everyone, thank you very much for tuning in, for watching this video, for your support. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, just post them and I'll definitely get them. I do get a lot of questions, so sometimes it takes me a little bit more time to get to the certain questions, but I'll definitely get to all of them no matter what. Thank you very much for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.